Today I'm going to show you my seed starting setup and how I get the plants ready to plant in the garden. Here is my indoor growing setup. It's fairly basic and I tried to do it in the most affordable way that I could. I have everything set up on plastic folding tables, and my light source, I'm just using 4-foot shop lights. What I'm using to hold the shop lights up is racks from a greenhouse that I bought a couple years ago, and this seems to work pretty well. Underneath my trays, I use things like cardboard boxes and baking pans, anything really to give me the right height. When you're doing seeds indoors, you want the top of the plant to be about an inch or two away from the lights. This is because if you compare it to the sun, the sun is much more powerful than a shop light, so we have to keep the plants as close as we can to maximize the energy that they can take. For watering, I don't do anything fancy. I use a bunch of plastic water bottles, and I just poke holes in the top of one of them and just use that to water them. This works pretty good because it's fairly gentle, so there's not much risk of damaging the seedlings doing it this way. And again, trying to be as affordable as possible with this, I have tons of water bottles laying around always, so this works out well for me. This is the light that I'm using in my setup. It's the Hyper Tough 5000 lumen 4-foot LED shop light that I got from Walmart. It was about 20 bucks when I bought it. This was maybe 3 years ago. The reason why I bought this one was because of its color temperature rating of 5000K. I'm going to explain a little bit about color temperature so you know what light will work best for your setup. This is the color temperature spectrum, and it basically describes the color of light coming from a light source. In the middle is more white. Towards the left, it gets more red and warmer tones, and to the right, it gets more blue and cooler tones. When choosing a color temperature, it's important to consider what stage of life that your plants are in or what your goals are for those plants. If you're trying to focus on like greenage and leaf growth, you want to pick a range between 5,000 and 7,000 Kelvin. But if your plants are flowering and fruiting, you want to choose a range between 3,500 and 4,500 Kelvin. The other thing that I mentioned about my grow lights was lumens, and basically this means brightness. When you're picking a grow light, you want to try to get as many lumens as possible. Lumens also add together, so if you have two lights that are both 5,000 lumens, your total amount of lumens is 10,000. I brought my plants outside, and if I were to plant them right now, they would most likely die from shock due to the extreme difference in environment from being indoors to now being outdoors. I currently have them in a location where it's mostly shaded, but a little bit later on this will all be sun and then shaded again. The next thing we have to do is a process called hardening off, and basically what that means is we have to sort of expose the plants slowly to outdoor elements to increase their chance of survival. And to do that, we are going to bring them outside during the day, expose them to the outside elements, some breeze, some more sunlight, and then bring them inside at night. We're going to do that for about a week, and then after that, they should be ready to plant in the garden. Overall, it's a very simple process, but it's really easy to overlook. So make sure if you're starting seeds indoors, you give them time to transition from inside conditions to outside conditions before putting them in their final home. So if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and get subscribed to see what I have coming up next. Once again, thanks for watching and happy growing.